Jay Leno. In the news, all they do is say, I'm replacing you. They think I can woo the demo.
So the network said, here's an idea. Pack your bags, take a hike, NBC.
Obviously, Jay Leno and Jimmy Fallon with a singing bromance this week as NBC announced yet another transition in the late night wars, or at least on the, well, was the gold standard, The Tonight Show. Now, Fallon, he will take over that 11:30 staple effective February following the Winter Olympics, and the show will move back to New York City, broadcasting here for the first time since Johnny Carson moved the show to L.A. back in 1972. And current Tonight Show host Jay Leno has publicly supported the move. I don't know what other choice he had, though there is speculation he may not be done entirely with TV. There are rumors he's being courted for a late-night show at Fox. NBC hopes this transition goes a lot better. Last time they tried moving Leno at 11:30. Remember the Conan O'Brien experiment? He lasted only 8 months on the gig before the network moved Leno back to the Tonight Show, and even then it never really seemingly fully recovered. Now the network makes the move in part to counter Jimmy Kimmel's successful transition to 11:30 over at ABC. Kimmel's numbers, they've been competitive, especially with the younger demos that the advertisers want so much. As for the musical chairs of the late night hosts, odds-on favorite to replace Fallon at 12:30 is SNL's Seth Meyers, both shows run by SNL top man Lorne Michaels. And as that happens, there are rumors of transition at yet another late night show. David Letterman at CBS is now 65, 1 year younger than Carson was when he left the Tonight Show. And as whispers of a possible Letterman retirement swirl, the name most often mentioned as a replacement for him, current Daily Show host Jon Stewart. Now, for more on all the comings and goings with this, I'm going to bring Andrew back in here. And Andrew, it's almost tough to keep track.
It is, but you know, one of the biggest questions that I had was, does this really matter that much anymore? It's not like everybody's watching the 11:30 shows the way they did when Johnny Carson was doing it. And for more on this late night game of musical chairs, I spoke earlier today with entertainment author and journalist Susanna Gora. Susanna, all this attention on The Tonight Show, I have to wonder if it's much ado about nothing. I mean, this isn't Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. The number of eyeballs on the show certainly way down, and its cultural influence is greatly removed from the Carson era as well, isn't it?
Well, what you have to remember, though, is this is one of the most iconic and beloved shows in all of television history. It's a franchise that has been around since 1954. I mean, think about all of the changes and things that have happened in our world since then. And still, this show is huge, and it is #1 in late night. And so it's always a really big deal when somebody new takes over The Tonight Show. It was a big deal, obviously, when Johnny Carson handed it over to Jay Leno in 1992. And of course, who can forget that whole thing in 2009 when Jay Leno left The Tonight Show and Conan O'Brien was the host for less than a year, only to be then replaced again by Jay Leno. So it's always a really hot topic in the cultural conversation because even decades after it began, people really do care about The Tonight Show.
If The Tonight Show's at #1, then why is NBC making this move now? Is there ratings pressure or demo pressure coming from Jimmy Kimmel?
Well, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to look at this. You have to realize Jimmy Kimmel is young and hip and cool, and so is Jimmy Fallon. And I'm sure the thought of, you know, ABC having Kimmel on at 11:35, attracting a really young, cool audience, NBC probably doesn't want to be caught flat-footed, having Leno still there, just getting older and older. And also, I think Leno himself, it seems, feels now that he really is ready to step down. You know, I don't think he felt that way in 2009 with the whole Conan O'Brien thing. But he seems to be feeling that way now, and I think Leno really has given his blessing now for Jimmy Fallon to take over from him. It seems like a very natural transition, and the timing is great because NBC is going to be doing this around when they're covering the Winter Olympics in Russia in February 2014. So it just seems like everything aligned in exactly the right way this time.
And finally, you know, NBC, they don't have a lot of big hits going for them right now. Leno is one of them. How much is at stake here for the future of NBC?
A lot is at stake because The Tonight Show is in many ways at the heart of this network. When we think NBC, we think The Today Show and we think The Tonight Show. And that's not just on a business level, that's in a very real kind of personal level. I mean, a lot of people start their day with The Today Show and end their day with The Tonight Show. So who the person hosting The Tonight Show is an incredibly important, significant thing, not just for NBC, but for the entire television industry, really. And I think Jimmy Fallon has it all. He is a great comedian. He is smart. He's a great interviewer. He has this whole musical side to him with these, viral videos, like when he had President Obama come on and slow jam the news. I mean, he just fits for, I think, the place that The Tonight Show needs to go in the future.
Tonight Show, the musical. Entertainment author and journalist Susanna Gora. Susanna, thanks for a few minutes.
Thank you.
You still think late night has the same culture impact?
Oh, no. Well, it does to a small degree. During the 2008 election, during the 2012 election, the monologues that you get from Leno or Letterman will help shape the public's image of the candidate. I mean, Mitt Romney as the effete billionaire came in part from what we saw from the late night comics, and Obama similarly characterized as well. So it works in that sense, but not nearly the same way it was when we were growing up, and it was, oh, did you hear what Johnny said?
Tom, favorite late night guy?
I'd say Jon Stewart.
Really?
Yeah.
All time?
Yeah.
I like Leno. I think Leno's great. He's, like I said, he's a Boston guy. He's down to earth. He's got great comic sense. I'm the guy watching him. Right, that's it. I like him.
It's just
He's
one
still
guy. He's still in
number
first
one,
place.
yeah.
But
Tom?
Jay Leno.
Really?
Yeah. Next to you.
I'm Jon
Next
Stewart.
to you.
I'm Jon Stewart now, but I still miss.
I tell you,
still miss Johnny Carson.
Give Jimmy Kimmel a shot. The guy is funny. If everybody's got a different sense
You
and
know, I
stuff.
want to pick up on what you were saying. I look at this conversation. We're talking about so many different people. That's what's happening here.
Yeah,
It doesn't
you're right.
really
That's a good
matter.
point.
Exactly
And-
right.
So many
and
different
Ralph,
people.
Our directors mentioned funniest monologue out there. I don't think Craig Ferguson. The guy is hysterical, abundantly talented, and we don't even mention his name or others.
Smart and witty.
Yes. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Wait, that's my line.